Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Remy, and today I'm going to tell you about 10 things that I learned while I played almost 100 hours of Valheim. Let's get started. Number 1. So first off, if you're like me, you probably get lost really easy. Well, there's some nice little tips about the minimap. If you press comma and period, you can zoom out and zoom in, letting you know pretty much exactly where you are at all times. Also on the note of the map, if you ever end up trying to figure out where something cool you saw was, you have some markers that if you double click on the map, when you have the map screen open, you can place. And of course, you can end up posting some nice little text at the bottom after you put it down, which lets you type in whatever it was that you saw that was really neat. Super nice. Number 2. Food in Valheim is massive, as it impacts both stamina and health. Unlike most survival games, you can't starve, but you will likely still end up dying if you don't take care of it. Even with armor, your health pool stays around 25 without it. In Valheim, you can't just eat the exact same food either. You have 3 different food buffs up at any given time. Food you've cooked does more for you than food that you just find as well, so be sure to have cooked food on you pretty often. Also, lots of recipes down the road require food from all over the game, so be sure to hoard some of the early game resources, or you're going to have to go back out to farm them. Number 3. Trees is super helpful for efficient tree cutting, and also on the note of cutting them down, you can also hit multiple trees by swinging your axe, so toppling them on top of each other makes wood gathering so much faster. Number 4. If you're like me, I love having lots and lots of storage in survival games so I can hoard items and later go and easily build things with materials I've farmed. Valheim doesn't directly let you stack storage boxes, but if you put a small wooden platform just above the chest, you can stack them, making it easier to build your own warehouses for loot. You really want to make sure to hold down the shift key if you're on keyboard and mouse to maximize your storage stacking. Number 5. This one is pretty simple, but something I definitely kicked myself for. Metal in ore or ingot form cannot go through portals, so always plan accordingly because that can really bite. Number 6. Perfect parrying is part of the combat system in Valheim that makes you feel unstoppable. As long as your shield can block the creature you're fighting, you can parry it. Making your foe go into a stagger state so you can attack and deal lots of extra damage. To do this, you just make sure that as the attack is about to land on you, you block, putting them into that stagger state. Even cooler though, this rule applies for projectiles too. So if a skelly boy shoots an arrow at you, or anything that can do projectiles, you can still stagger it. Number 7. One thing that really drives me up the wall is if you're running around crafting and have the hammer equipped, you can't open doors. But if you end up hitting your sheath button, the default on keyboard and mouse being R, you'll put it away and you can unsheath it the same way. This same method works with weapons and shields, so you can put them away simultaneously and take them out simultaneously as well, making getting in and out of combat super quick, instead of having to jam on those keybinds. Number 8. Building in Valheim is a bit interesting. You need to have a workbench nearby so you can craft structures. To make it so you can repair on it, it also needs to have a roof. So normally I just build 2 walls and a roof to cover it in case I need a repair. But in Valheim, you can also find old structures and make them your own, which is super nice to use as a way to jumpstart having a base early game. The building in Valheim is a bit of a pain to get used to, but becomes much faster once you figure out aiming at the corners and edges of structures makes the snap occur. You can also build out of the circles made by the workbench, but only while you're inside of it. If you don't like a structure or just want to have some quick wood, you can disassemble structures with a hammer and get all resources back from it. Just save the workbench for last since you need it for disassembly. Number 9. Fire in Valheim is super useful as it makes you warm, getting rid of the cold debuff, and quickly can get rid of the wet debuff, both of which lessen your stamina bar. But you really want to make sure any sort of fire that you have out of like campfires or hearths or things like that are in a well-ventilated area, as the smoke in Valheim is volumetric and can fill a room, eventually dealing damage to you, which I think is still super cool. Number 10. In Valheim, driving the boats takes a bit to get used to. There are 3 different speeds. The first, just using the rudder, the second, using the half sail, and the third, using full. You can't move with the sails out if the wind is against you, so learning how to maneuver with the rudder is key, along with learning the momentum physics in the water. Not to mention, you actually have a little bar towards the top right corner of your screen that actually says exactly how the wind is and tells you if you can use the wind with it as well. But the biggest thing I wish I knew earlier is that if you jump off the boat, when it's moving, it'll immediately stop. If you're playing with friends, you'll all have to jump though. It's super helpful to make sure you don't get beached. So that's it for my 10 biggest things that I wish I would have known earlier in my 100 hours of Valheim. Thanks for joining us for this entire video. What else do you think should have actually been in it? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification button so you can get notifications every time I do a video like this. I also stream every single day on caffeine.tv, so be sure to check us out there. You can always find a stream archive here on YouTube as well. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.